Hi class. We are going to talk about setters and getters of a class. So what if we want to keep track of where the car is besides the model, the make, the year? This is our last implementation, the class car number 2. So in number 3, we are adding the getter and setters, meaning that we can now get and set certain member variables values. So to keep track of the city and the state where the car is, we added 2 member variables, city and state, both are of type string. And then we add something called assessors, or it's also called getters. So we just want to know the value of city and the value of the state. And the modifiers or the setters, it's the value, we would set the value of the city to, for example, in this case, we implement it with a parameter called string, a US city, and to set the state. So to repeat, what are getters? It return the value of a certain member variable. It's also called assessors. Setters, it set the value of a certain member variable. Remember that it's usually it's one-on-one relationship, so it's like it set only value of one member variable or get the value of one member variable, like we mentioned in the last video, because all the members are private by default and we want to keep it that way because we want to separate the implementation from how people can use this class. So setters also are called modifiers or mutators. So it's really up to you which way you want to use. But sometimes, this kind of jargon is important because later on in your career, you would want to talk to your fellow engineers about implementation, and certain jargons will be useful like in any professions. That's why jargons exist, because it's easier for communication. So it's good to remember what they are called. So let's demo this new class that we defined. Like we said, we are adding the location of the car represented by city and state, and we can now access the value of private members by using something called getter and setters. In some programming language, actually they make it easier for you to define these functions, but in C++, this is similar to just any regular functions. In the implementation part, it's very simple. So when we get the city, we just return the string of city, like so. And we return the value of state as a string as well. And you can see in the declaration that we declare it to return a string. Anyways, that's how a get function or getter works. To set a city, we just say city equals to US city, the parameter that is being passed in. This actually should be state equals to US state. Good that we figure out the bug. And then to print car, we realize we need to also take care of where the car is. So I added this part where if the state is not empty, it will print out the state, and if the city is not empty, it will print out the city, and preceded by it is located in blah blah city comma state if there's a city. So and like before, the implementation is after the main function. So let's try to run the code. Okay, let's look at the code. So what we did this time is we create an object and initialize with a constructor calling the constructor with these variables, values of this, like VW Passat 2018 San Jose, California. And then we print out my car. And then we declare your car, and I don't know where you live, so I just say empty in the city, and then California, and print out your car also. And then I set the city of your car to Mountain View afterwards, and then print out your car again. So let's run the program. And then maybe let me clean it up a little bit, and then run the program. So this is a 2018 VW Passat. It is located in San Jose, California. The first time we set up your car, we didn't have a city, and so we just say that it is located in California. And then later on we add the city back, and so the printout function, the print car function, can locate that or print out that you are in Mountain View, California. Hopefully, you find a job in Google or something like that. So anything I want to remind you, so the getter and setter again has to go under public, because otherwise no one else can access it. So then this line of code wouldn't have worked. It will give an error. And then be reminded that the car : has to precede any member functions, basically. I hope I repeated enough number of times. Now you remember and won't forget, because when you compile you will get an error. To recap, getter has another name called accessors. Setters has another name called modifiers or mutators. So they are both for setting values of member variables. Only one of them, though, one at a time. So next we are going to talk about how to use classes and struct and combine them together and have hierarchy.